Welcome everyone, this is On This Restart, and this time we're talking about different potential announcements we could see in perhaps a September Nintendo Direct. Now, I'm going to talk about a number of different things that I have some anticipation for. Most of these things I think are actually being worked on, some of them are just rumored, but definitely there's still a chance they could actually be in development, and there's also a chance they could be announced during this upcoming Direct. I think something important to take into consideration here is that we just don't know that much about what's happening in 2023, and if we're getting a late year Direct, presumably this September, maybe a little bit later, we shall see, then they're probably going to start to outline what's to come throughout next year. So some of these projects could be announced during the Direct. Not all of them, probably not even half of them, but definitely a few of them have a decent chance for sure. So let's go ahead and jump into a number of potential announcements we could see during the Direct. So firstly, let's cover some DLC. I think eventually we're obviously getting DLC for Mario Kart 8. Wave 3 should be on the way. We did just get Wave 2, so it might be a little bit too early to have anticipation for Wave 3, expecting it to actually happen or be announced in September. But, you know, who knows? Maybe that'll happen then. Maybe the Direct will be a little bit later in October and that's when they announce it. But Wave 3 surely will be announced probably before the end of the year. Now, continuing that train of thought, though, I do think we'll probably get updates on DLC for both Xenoblade Chronicles 3 and Splatoon as well. There is a paid DLC package for Xenoblade Chronicles. They may give us more details on the next wave. And then for Splatoon, that's going to be getting regular updates, so they may be showing off some of those updates in a Direct. That, I would say, is a pretty easy prediction, but again, this is not predictions, but still things that we could be seeing during the Direct. But now let's jump into something that's a bit bigger. Breath of the Wild 2. This game is supposedly coming out spring 2023, which would be in the earlier part of the year, and we are now in the later part of the year prior. We may be within 6 months of the release of this huge Zelda game, and we know so little about it. So, if the game is not getting delayed, they need to talk about Zelda. Breath of the Wild 2 has a very likely chance of showing up relatively soon, so if there's a Direct, I think there's a decent chance we see it there. Now, going beyond Breath of the Wild 2, there have also been the rumored Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD. If there's any plans of these games coming out anytime soon, if there's a Direct next month, well, there's a decent chance they would show up then. And on the note of seeing GameCube games being remastered or retouched or reported over to Switch, let's talk about Metroid Prime. So, there is this rumor that's come from Jeff Grubb that Metroid Prime will be getting a nice big boy remaster or remake, depending on how you look at it, this holiday. We're running out of time for it to be potentially announced, but in theory, given that it's just a remaster or a remake of an old GameCube game, they can maybe announce it this September and it could still come out maybe November or December. That's not too much of a stretch, and it's definitely something I have my eyes peeled for if we're getting a Direct this September. But if they are talking about Prime Remake, they may also tease Metroid Prime 4. We may get our first legitimate look at Prime 4 in a Direct this year. We may have to wait until next year, or perhaps beyond, I hope not, but perhaps. But still, I feel like we are within the realm of possibility, or rather plausibility, that we could be seeing some actual real tangible information on Metroid Prime 4. We are getting close, I think. Now, another big thing that we need news for is the Mario movie. That Mario movie is also coming out supposedly sometime next year, early next year, and we don't really know much about it beyond just the voice actors, and that's the Mario movie, and that's pretty much it. So we need information on that. Maybe we finally get a trailer for this Mario movie in this Direct. That could happen. Now, going beyond the Mario movie, maybe there should also be a Mario game coming out relatively soon as well. It could be 3D, it could be 2D, but definitely one of the mainline series, I think, should not be that far off. So there's a chance that's also teased alongside the Mario movie. They may wait, but point is, it's within the realm of plausibility here. It's something that I could see happening. Another interesting thing that we do know about the Mario movie is that Donkey Kong's gonna be in it. So Donkey Kong may also be having a game coming soon, not purely just because of the movie. There have been rumors, there are different things going on with like the Nintendo Park, for example. I do believe there's a Donkey Kong game in development. This game that's been rumored for some time may finally get announced during this Direct. Am I saying it will be? No. Again, these are all just possibilities, but it's another one of those things that I think Nintendo is sort of saving for the right time to show off. Now, something else that I think has a decent chance of being worked on right now is a Kid Icarus game. So recently we got news that Bandai Namco is remaking and or remastering some sort of Nintendo action game. So when you think about Nintendo action games, how many are there that fit that criteria that would be worthy of getting a remake or remaster from Bandai Namco? What would make sense? Well, Bandai Namco also developed Smash Bros., which is worked on by Sakurai, who's also worked on Kid Icarus Uprising, a game that suffered for being on just a 3DS. But if it was remastered or remade for a modern day console like the Switch, it would play a lot better online, the controls would work a lot better, and it could probably get some nice substantial visual upgrades. So there's a familiarity there. It sort of adds up in terms of the genre. I think there's a pretty good chance Kid Icarus could be the game that's getting redone by Bandai Namco. Now, it may not be Kid Icarus, it could be something else. Regardless, at some point or another, we are going to see this product, I believe. I don't think it'll be canceled. So, when will it happen? I don't know. Maybe they're working on Star Fox instead, another series that is known for its action that is from Nintendo. And on that note, there is also a rumor for a Star Fox game. I am pretty skeptical of this rumor. I don't really believe it, just because of the source. Not saying there can't be a Star Fox game in the works. There may very well be. I just am skeptical of the source here, but it is coming from Zippo, so you know, Star Fox is rumored coming from that angle, and maybe it could be announced in the upcoming Direct. Now, a rumor I do believe, though, is coming from Silex Hunter, and not to confuse this with Samus Hunter. There's a video on the channel where we highlight the credibility of Silex Hunter as opposed to Samus Hunter, and Silex Hunter has been hinting at an FZero project. What could this be? I'm assuming it's a game. Maybe it's not a full price $60 AAA game, but maybe it's a solid FZero entry that we could be seeing coming to Switch, and it may be announced in the not so distant future. So it wouldn't entirely shock me if we see it announced in a Direct not too long from now. Now, something else that's rumored that I also think kind of makes sense to be announced soon is the next mainline entry for Fire Emblem. The last one we saw was Fire Emblem Three Houses that came out back in 2019. I feel like there's a decent chance we could see another one 4 years later in 2023. If we look at how Fire Emblem was handled on the Nintendo 3DS, there is quite a few there, so a 4-year gap's pretty large. I think we're about due for a new Fire Emblem, and it has been rumored from some credible people, including Nate DeHate, so I do think it is coming relatively soon, and it could be announced soon as well. And that's almost pretty much it. Except for one other thing that I have not brought up that I almost entirely forgot because it was not in my notes. I basically ran through this entire list that I noted down. But there's one other project that could be announced that I have in mind, and that is Pikmin 4. Pikmin 4 has been not even rumored, but literally told to us by Shigeru Miyamoto, the father of Mario and Zelda, that it's been nearly done. But that was told to us back in 2015. We are now in 2022, looking at announcements for 2023 and beyond. It's been quite some time. So whatever that project was, it's either been repurposed, canceled, derailed, paused, but still, at some point or another, they're probably going to do another Pikmin. I think given that they came out with Pikmin 3 Deluxe, given that they came out with a Pikmin mobile game, given that they have Pikmin throughout the Nintendo Universal Park, they're still sort of marketing and pushing the Pikmin brand, and I wouldn't be shocked if that Pikmin 4 project was redone or sort of reassessed or whatever, and we're going to be seeing a new Pikmin game relatively soon for Switch. I think that's something that could be announced, and we could be seeing it maybe even in a Direct next month. There is that chance of getting announced. I think for sure it's not coming out this year at this point, but next year, I think it would actually be a great game to come out in the first half of the year. It feels like a nice spring or summer kind of game, so I could see Nintendo announcing it in a September Direct. And that's actually it. That's all the different things that I have some level of anticipation for that could be announced. Could there be a curveball that I have not brought up here? Absolutely, positively. But I feel like I covered a lot of ground here in terms of a number of things that Nintendo could be showing off during its Direct that have some decent chance of actually being a real thing. But what do you guys think? What sorts of announcements could we be seeing in a potential direct that has not been confirmed for September? Let me know in the comments below. Anyways, everyone, this is On Just Restart. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and I'll see you all really soon. Take care. Bye.